"Dennis, what is this?" Those were the first words Elsa said when she found the small packet hidden inside her husband's wardrobe. Her hand started shaking. She looked at the packet again. Then she looked at her husband. His face changed immediately. The confidence disappeared. For a few seconds, nobody spoke. Then Elsa looked at the label one more time. And what she saw made her heart drop. Those pills were not vitamins. They were not fertility supplements. They were contraceptive drugs. Birth control drugs. The same pills Dennis would give her every single morning for almost 6 years. Elsa stepped backward in disbelief. And that was the moment she understood. The problem was never her body. The problem was her husband. And the truth she was about to discover was even worse. Everyone in town used to say Elsa was born with a golden spoon. Her father, Chief Williams, was one of the most successful businessmen in the state. He owned a large construction company. He had houses, lands, and cars, and enough money that his family would never have to worry for basic needs again. Elsa was his only child. She was beautiful, educated, and kind. But unlike many wealthy people, Elsa was not someone who enjoyed showing off. She preferred simple clothes, simple friendship, and a quiet life. Her father often worried about one thing, that Elsa trusted people too easily. And sadly, he was right. The story began when Elsa returned from London after completing her master's degree. She came back home ready to help her father manage part of his company. That was where she met Dennis. Dennis worked as a cleaner. Every morning, he arrived before everyone else. He cleaned the office, swept the floor, washed windows, and did everything. Many people barely noticed him, but Elsa did. One rainy afternoon, everything changed. Elsa saw Dennis helping an old security guard who injured his leg. The man could barely walk. While everyone else watched, Dennis did something unexpected. He carried the old man on his back through the rain and took him to the nearby clinic. Nobody asked him to do it. Nobody forced him. He just helped. And that moment stayed in Elsa's heart. Weeks later, they started talking. Small conversation became longer conversation. She discovered Dennis was quiet, respectful, and soft-spoken. Unlike many men who try to get close to wealthy women, Dennis never asked Elsa for money. Months passed. Their friendship grew. Then one evening, Dennis finally confessed his feeling. "I know I'm not your class," he said. "I know your father will never approve, but I love you." Elsa's heart melted. She believed she had found someone rare. A man who loved her for who she was, or who her father was. But Elsa told her father, Chief Williams was not happy. Her father tried to advise her, but she did not listen. She believed her father was judging Dennis because he was poor. She believed love could overcome everything. After months of disagreements, Chief Williams finally accepted the marriage. Not because he fully approved, but because he loved his daughter so much. The wedding was beautiful. Dennis cried during the vows. Guests praised him. Many people said Elsa had a kind heart for marrying a poor man. Nobody knew. Dennis was thinking something completely different, because deep inside, he knew a secret nobody else knew. The marriage was never about love, not for him. For the first 2 years, everything looked perfect. Dennis moved into Elsa's luxurious bungalow. He stopped working as a cleaner. Elsa supported him. She gave him money to start business, bought him expensive clothes, even bought him a new car. Everything he once dreamed about was now in his hand. Dennis acted grateful. Then another problem entered the marriage. A problem that would change everything. They could not have children. 1 year, 2 year, 3 year passed, but still no child. At first, Elsa and Dennis tried not to worry, but slowly, the pressure started building. Hospital visits became normal. Tests, treatments, prayer, fasting. They tried everything they could, but nothing changed. The questions from people became painful. Family members started talking. Neighbors started asking. Even strangers felt comfortable enough to ask. They started asking her, when will she give birth? Every question felt like a wound, especially for Elsa, because doctors could not find any serious problem. Yet, pregnancy never happened. Elsa cried every night. She wondered what was wrong. She blamed herself. She felt like she was disappointing everyone. And every time, Dennis would hold her and comfort her. At least, that was what he wanted her to believe. Then one day, Dennis came up with an idea. A solution, something that would change their lives forever. He suggested a surrogate. Elsa became quiet. The idea felt strange. It was not something she had expected, but Dennis explained calmly. He explained why they needed a surrogate. After many conversations, Elsa finally agreed. She wanted to become a mother. She wanted to hold her child and know the pain. Finding a surrogate was not easy. Some women refused. Some demanded a large amount of money. Others changed their mind. Weeks turned into months until one day, Dennis suggested something Elsa never expected. He suggested his mother. He tried to convince her that it was safer to trust his mother than trust a stranger outside. The idea sounded unusual, but Dennis' mother was healthy. The doctor approved, and eventually, Elsa also agreed. Dennis' mother moved into the bungalow. At first, everything seemed perfect. She was kind to Elsa. She prayed with her. She constantly thanked Elsa for helping their family. Then the embryo transfer happened. Everyone was happy. Dennis' mother was pregnant. For the first time in years, Elsa felt hope again. She decorated the nursery. She brought baby clothes. She imagined the day she would finally hold her child. She dreamed about being a mother. She did not know that that dream she was building was standing on a lie. Small things started changing. At first, they were easy to ignore. Dennis stopped going to work. He said his mother needed special care. Elsa understood. After all, she was a family. But weeks became months and Dennis still did not want to work. Instead, he spent every day with his mother. Breakfast together, watching television together, going on walks together, having conversations that suddenly stopped whenever Elsa entered the room. At first, Elsa ignored it. She tried to convince herself. She said they were just family and Dennis was trying to take care of his mother. But something inside her felt uncomfortable. Something felt wrong. One afternoon, Elsa returned home earlier than usual. As she entered the compound, she heard laughter coming from the garden. Elsa followed the sound. Then she saw them, Dennis and his mother, sitting under the mango tree. His mother was feeding him with a spoon. Dennis was laughing. They looked comfortable. Too comfortable. Then they noticed Elsa and immediately everything changed. The laughter stopped. The silence became heavy. Elsa stood there feeling uncomfortable. But she did not know that that was only the beginning. As the pregnancy continued, the atmosphere inside Elsa's home slowly changed. The woman who was supposed to help them have a family became the center of everything. Dennis treated his mother like royalty. He bought her gifts, prepared special meals, carried her bags, massaged her feet, and he was always around her. Meanwhile, Elsa was carrying the weight of the entire household. She spent long hours managing her father's company. She paid the bills, handled the expenses, took care of everyone in the house. But somehow, nobody seems to notice her anymore. Nobody asked her if she was okay. The woman who's supposed to be the happiest was becoming the loneliest person in her house. Love slowly disappeared from the marriage. It was replaced by distance, coldness, and silence. Every morning, Dennis would bring Elsa a glass of juice and some tablets. They are fertility supplements, he would say. He would say the doctor recommended them for her. Elsa trusted him completely. Why wouldn't she? That was her husband, the man she believed loved her. Every day, she swallowed the tablet without question. When Elsa felt hopeless, Dennis would comfort her and tell her, don't worry, she will be pregnant. But Elsa did not know. Those tablets were not helping her become pregnant. They were doing the opposite. They were contraceptive drugs, birth control pills, that very thing preventing the pregnancy she wanted so badly. And the person she trusted the most was the reason her dream never happened. Months later, Dennis' mother finally gave birth. Twins, a boy and a girl. The whole family celebrated. Chief Williams paid the hospital bills, bought gifts, organized a celebration. Everyone was happy, especially Dennis. Elsa had never seen him this excited before. He barely slept. He carried the babies constantly. He looked completely attached to them. At first, Elsa thought it was beautiful. She believed Dennis was simply being a loving father. But then, she started noticing small things. Whenever people said, this baby looks like Elsa, he became uncomfortable. Whenever someone praised Elsa as their mother, Dennis' mother would suddenly become quiet. Tiny reaction, small moments. No, but Elsa noticed. 6 months later, another strange thing happened. Elsa needed some documents from her mother's in-law's room. Her mother-in-law was away visiting neighbors, so Elsa entered. While searching through a drawer, her hand touched something, an old photograph. Elsa picked it up. She looked at it again. Her hand started shaking. The photograph showed a younger version of her mother-in-law, standing beside a teenage Dennis. The picture itself was not the problem. It was the way they stood, the closeness, the position, the way Dennis held her around the waist, like a boyfriend, not a son. Elsa felt sick. She quickly pushed the thoughts away. No, that is not possible. But deep inside, a question had already entered her mind. After finding the old photograph, Elsa tried to forget what she saw. She wanted to believe there was a simple explanation. She wanted to believe her mind was creating problems where they were none. But then, something else happened. One of the twins became sick. The family rushed to the hospital. Doctors carried out their routine test. They asked questions. They checked record. Then something unusual happened. During the discussion, the doctors noticed something confusing. Some of the blood rates did not seem to match what should have been expected. The doctor was not accusing anyone. He was simply asking questions, normal medical questions. But those questions stayed in Elsa's mind. That night, Elsa could not sleep. Her mind kept replaying everything. The laughter under the mango tree, the whispers in the sitting room, the strange photograph, the way Dennis treated his mother, the way his mother treated Dennis. The more she thought about it, the more uncomfortable she became. She finally accepted something. Something was wrong. A few days later, Elsa visited a new fertility specialist for routine consultation. The doctor asked about her previous medication. Elsa reached into her bag and brought out one of the tablets her husband had been giving her so far. The doctor looked at it carefully. Her expression changed. Who prescribed this medicine? He asked. Elsa answered, my husband always gives it to me. The doctor looked surprised. He said those are not medicine. They were not fertility drugs. They were contraceptive drugs. He asked the doctor what he meant. The doctor showed her the screen for proof. The room became silent. Elsa stared at the screen. A contraceptive drug? She did not believe. The drugs were given to her to prevent her from becoming pregnant. For a moment, Elsa could not speak. Everything suddenly connected. The daily tablets, the years without pregnancy, Dennis controlling all medical information, Dennis collecting prescription only, Dennis bringing the pills himself. The truth was painful, but now it finally made sense. For the first time, Elsa decided to investigate. Not because she wanted to believe the worst, but because she needed answer. If she was wrong, she would apologize. But if she was right, she needed to know. The next morning, Elsa hired a private investigator. 3 weeks later, the investigator returned, but the expression on his face was different. He looked troubled, very troubled. He placed a file on the tablet on the table. "Madam, are you sure you want to see this?" Elsa looked at him. Yes. The investigator opened the file. Inside there were photographs, dozens of them. Photos of Dennis and his mother holding hands together, eating, entering hotels, living apartments, not behaving like mother and son, but like lovers. Elsa felt the room spinning. She could not believe it. The investigator stayed silent. Then he revealed something even worse. Dennis and his mother were not biologically related. They had been lying. For years, Dennis' mother was never his mother. Not even for once. The investigator opened another file. Inside were old documents, birth controls, witness statements, evidence, and slowly the truth came out. Years earlier, Dennis and the woman everyone called his mother had lived together in another town. They were not family, they were a couple. But they created a lie. They pretended to be mother and son. A lie that made people trust them. A lie that allowed them to hide in plain sight. And Elsa was not their first opportunity. They had done this before. They targeted people through manipulation, through lies, through emotional traps, until they met Elsa, their biggest opportunity. Suddenly, every memory looked different. Every smile, every hug, every promises, everything she believed was built on a lie. Dennis never loved her. He loved her money, her family name, her wealth. And the woman everyone called his mother had been helping him from the beginning. Then Elsa remembered something. The twins. Her hand began shaking. She didn't want to ask those questions. The investigator became silent, and that silence answered everything. The DNA test was done quietly, very quietly, without Dennis knowing. 2 weeks later, the result came out. Elsa sat alone, holding the envelope in her hand. Her fingers trembled as she opened it. She read the results and then she cried. Not because she was surprised, but because the truth she had been avoiding had finally become real. The twins were not her children. The entire surrogacy story was a lie. The children were not created for Elsa. They belonged to Dennis and the mother everyone believed was his mother. Their children, not hers, never hers. Suddenly, everything became clear. Dennis never wanted Elsa to become pregnant. A child from Elsa would have changed their plan. It would have created a deeper connection between Elsa and her own family. And Dennis did not want that. He wanted control over her money, her lifestyle, and her family wealth. Meanwhile, he was secretly living another life. A life with the woman everyone trusted as his mother. The surrogate arrangement was never about helping Elsa become a mother. It was a plan, a way to bring the woman into Elsa's home, a way to make the pregnancy look normal, a way to hide the truth. The twins were never Elsa's dream. They were part of Dennis' secret. For 3 days, Elsa barely spoke. She cried, she grieved as she remembered everything. Not only the marriage, but the future she thought she had, the family she thought she was building, the children she already loved. She was mourning something that was never real. After those 3 days, something changed. The sadness slowly turned into anger. Not the kind of anger that comes with losing money. Money could be replaced. This was different. They had stolen years of her life, years she could never get back. Elsa stopped crying and she started planning. She contacted lawyers, accountants, investigators. Quietly, carefully, she collected everything. Every document, every transaction, every lie. She did not rush, she waited, because she knew the truth had to come out completely. One evening, Dennis returned home. He was smiling and relaxed, completely unaware. But when he opened the door, his smile disappeared, because inside the house were lawyers, investigators, court documents, and Elsa waiting for him. For the first time, Dennis looked afraid. Not pretending, not acting, truly afraid. The truth finally came out, not only to the authorities, but to everyone. Every family member, friends and neighbor, the entire community. People were shocked. Some refused to believe it. Others remembered the strange moments they ignored, the unusual closeness, the strange behavior, the uncomfortable signs. Suddenly, everything made sense. The puzzle piece was finally connected. Dennis and the woman he called his mother tried to deny everything. They tried to explain. They tried to hide behind more lies. But this time, the evidence was stronger. The truth could no longer be covered. Their secrets collapsed. The relationship ended publicly. Investigations followed. Legal battles followed. And the story spread everywhere. A story about love, a story about trust, a story about deception. Months later, Elsa's bungalow became quiet again. No lies, no pretending, no hidden secrets, just silence. But this time, it was a peaceful silence. A silence where healing could begin. Elsa focused on rebuilding her life. It was not easy. Trust became difficult, very difficult, but she survived. And slowly, she found herself again. Months passed. The house that was once filled with secrets was now quiet. The same rooms where lies were hidden became the place where Elsa slowly healed. And years later, people still talk about Elsa's story. Some people thought it was unbelievable. Others thought it was impossible. But many people remembered it as a warning. Not because it was only about surrogacy, not because it was only about money, but because it was about deception. A lesson passed from one generation to another, a lesson that reminds people, not everyone who smiles at your back truly cares about you. Some people stay close because they love you, but some people stay close because they need something from you. And sometimes, the biggest secrets are hidden in places where nobody thinks to look. The scariest part of Elsa's story was that it was not discovering that the twins were never hers. It was realizing that the people she trusted the most had been pretending from the beginning. They lived under her roof, ate her food, spent her money, shared the same table with her, and all that time they were building a life together right in front of her. A life that never truly included her, only what she could provide. The story of Elsa remains a reminder that love should not only be seen through words, it should be seen through actions. And before giving someone your whole heart, pay attention, because sometimes the person standing close to you can be the person hiding the biggest secrets. The end. Hi guys, so this is the end of the story. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I really appreciate it. If you have heard or seen something similar to this, please don't forget to drop a comment on the comment section. I really appreciate it. And please don't forget to like, subscribe and follow for more interesting story. I promise to give you more interesting story hereafter. Thank you so much. I love you. Bye bye. See you next time.